Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cat's Corner. Before we get started, do me a favor, reach down and please hit that subscribe button. Once you hit it, it will be a feeling of well-being that will serve you well throughout the day. Our guest for this episode, three-time All-Star, a former Cardinal that's back, Jack. It's Matt Carpenter. Matt, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jim. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, glad to do it. You're back with the Cardinals. Now, usually I start by saying, where are you now? But I know that you're at Matt Holliday's. I see it's a kitchen set up. So are you in Matt Holliday's kitchen? Are you in Jackson's kitchen? Which Holiday kitchen are you in?
I'm actually in the newly married Jackson Holiday's kitchen that is attached to their barn on property that is also attached to the batting cage and the pickleball court. It's a pretty special setup over here. I'm kind of just making myself at home currently.
No, do that. Because first, like you didn't stay there. It's the Holiday estate, and he made you stay at a La Quinta down the road, didn't he?
He didn't make me. I actually requested that. I've been up here a few times this off season, and every time I stay at Matt's house, we end up kicking one of his sons out of their room so that I can have a place to sleep. And I didn't want to do that. Plus, I also brought a friend that Matt's working with on his swing, a guy I work out with. So when you bring company, you can't expect to have a place to stay. So
He has an estate.
I know he's got plenty. Hey, he's got plenty of room, but I just felt it was the right thing to do to get a hotel this time.
I think he cheaped out. All right, so I've seen the social media. So the batting lab, the athletic facility is right next door. Can you show us the Holiday spread? Can you show us what's going on?
Absolutely. So
This is awesome. This is awesome.
I'm walking out of Jackson and his wife's Chloe's place that's right here, and if you open this door, it takes you right into this barn, which you can see behind me. There's Matt right over there. He's throwing batting practice. We got the cage going, the pickleball court.
Can you just walk over to him so I could get a closer look at him flipping BP? I'm sure he would love to make a cameo.
I'm sure he will. So we got the boys right here hitting, which, by the way, we got to keep this as quick as possible because I need to get back in the cage. But
we said like 20 minutes. Let me see. All right, that's cool. All right, now go back to your talking position because we have a lot to catch up about.
There's the boys.
Because Matt Carpenter is back. So I wanted to start by asking you, how did this happen? Did they reach out to you? Did it happen quickly? Was it something that was in the works? How did it come about?
Yeah, honestly, it was something that really, when the whole thing kind of happened with, the conclusion between getting traded to the Braves and then ultimately being released, there was a lot of dialogue back and forth with, both teams. I didn't know what was going to happen. There was talks about, when I got traded to the Braves, immediately I got a phone call from their GM and they said, hey, look, I wish we were saying welcome to the Braves, but this is something that, you're not really a fit for our roster currently, and we're going to look to try to move you. And so there was a lot of uncertainty and fear for a couple days because, they wanted to trade me to, and when you get traded, you don't really have any say in how that works out. And thankfully, a lot of people might have seen, being released as a negative thing. But for me, I was actually took it as a positive because it gave me an opportunity to ultimately sign back in St. Louis. But to answer your question, when that all happened, my agent's calling me and he's kind of giving me what he's kind of suspected, some of the teams that were going to reach out and what could be a potential fit. And, a lot of the teams that he had mentioned were ones that did. And St. Louis really wasn't on our radar. But as soon as Mo called, which was pretty early in the process, I was just extremely fired up and wanted to find a way to make it happen, and here we are.
Were you definitely going to play another year? I mean, was that your plan is I'm going to keep playing through?
Well, yeah, obviously I still have a heart and desire to continue to play, but I wanted it to be a good fit and the right fit. There was talks, about some other teams that I felt like could be a good fit. But I mean, anytime you get an opportunity to go back to the place that you love so dearly, like I do in St. Louis, it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, I have so much admiration and respect for this organization and what it's all about and what they're trying to do and the group of guys in that room, and to get to be a part of it. I mean, I just couldn't pass up on it.
A lot more to cover, but I see you got the full beard now. Please tell me that this season you will have the stash like you had it when you were with the Yankees. Please tell me that's the plan.
You know, I don't know if that's the plan or not. I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't really thought much of it. Maybe I'll poll the audience, maybe the Cardinal fans. Maybe we'll ask them on this show what they think. I got 3 plays. I got the clean shaven look that kind of started my career off. I've got the beard that kind of was towards the middle, and then I got the mustache that was at the end. So we'll see. Maybe we'll poll the audience and see what they want.
When
There's
we
a little
post
bit more
this,
gray than the beard now than there was before.
Yeah, the mustache is the move, and we'll do a poll when this posts. So you're 38, right? You killed it with the Yankees last year at the Padres, not so much. So my question to you at this stage, what do you bring offensively?
You know, as a competitor, you always feel like you can, find a way to be productive and still hit at a high level. And I don't think you should play if you don't feel that way internally. So internally, I feel like I've got a lot to offer still. But at the absolute, core of kind of who I am as a hitter, that I feel like I can always do is that just give you a competitive at bat off the bench, find a way to get on base, walk, and just have a competitive at bat. I mean, that's really my goal every time I step in the box, is to just be a guy that can be counted on to just compete and, work a count and try to have a team executed at bat. And, that's kind of my focus. And then, whatever happens, if I can, do some things and get hot and, get on a little run with some opportunity, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, your mindset as a competitor and as a player is to come into the season and find a way to be productive. And otherwise, I don't think that I would be here. I don't think that, I really, truly believe that, Mo and our front office and our coaching staff, wouldn't sign me if they didn't believe in me as a player, a little. It can't just be all leadership. You're not going to take a roster spot for strictly, being a veteran presence. So I still think there's some something left in there, and I hope it shows up, and I'm confident it will.
All right, we'll get to the leadership thing in a second, but I want to get back to hitting. So this stage of your career, you visit Matt Holliday. I talked to him today about some of the things. He said it was too technical and over my head because I don't know anything about baseball. But in terms of kind of getting your swing together, maybe a little shorter, he talked about the hips and how you stand. What things at this stage do you work on to try to make sure you're where you need to be in terms of bat speed?
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing that Matt is, and I'm, I'll be the first to, fire him up on this show here is, I mean, this guy, I mean, when he's coaching and helping me in there, I mean, he'll still hop in there and take a swing. And one of the things that I really kind of hold on to is, like, if he executes his swing correctly and mechanically, the bat speed, the exit velo, all those things, they're there. At age, I don't even know how old he is.
I think he's 60.
He's still able to do that. And he tells me this and shows me this, that as almost as an encouragement, because I do the same thing. I have the ability to do the same thing. I think as you age, two things that happen, it just gets harder to make that swing consistently, and it's easier to kind of like let it get sideways. But if you are disciplined in your work and you continue to make the good pass at the baseball with a good swing direction and good swing plane and a good approach, I mean, you could still do the things that you did when you were 26, 27. It's just more of a challenge. So, him just instilling that in me and us really getting down to the basics of my swing, and, a guy who I've played with for a long time and knows what it looks like. It's just really beneficial, and it's helped me out a ton. And, I give him so much credit for the run I went on in New York 2 years ago. And, I really feel like, there's still some in there hopefully I can do it this year.
I'm just curious, when you go on that run in New York, is it what you're talking about? Did he see something in your swing right there that says you got to change it? Because, I mean, you were on fire.
I mean, Jim, I was really in a bad spot towards the end of my time in St. Louis, just strictly from a swing standpoint. Here he is.
Is this still going on?
There he is, the hitting guru.
Yeah, we're actually talking. Yeah,
You're interrupting a session, Jim.
We got to get to work, man.
I know. Give me 6-7 minutes, please. We've already.
Show? It's really not, right?
No, this is for Bally's. This is for digital. For Bally's, this is TV.
So no one will see it. All right, good.
No, so I mean,
so that beast helped you.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, towards the end of my time in St. Louis, I had just really gotten sideways with my swing. I just wasn't confident. I had a ton of mechanical issues that I couldn't get ironed out, and I wasn't sure what direction to go with them. And when you lose mechanics, then the confidence follows. My confidence was low. I wasn't sure I was able to. And Matt really helped me get over the hump there. Then it started with the mechanics, and then getting the mechanics dialed in, and then going back and having a little bit of success. Then the confidence starts to go, and then I was able to just go on a run. Similar to some of the best stretches I had of my career in St. Louis, and it gives me a ton of confidence going forward that that wasn't that long ago, and then I feel like I can still do that. And if I'm doing the right things, and I feel like Matt's got me on the right track, and I feel good about where we're headed into the season.
So you mentioned the leadership aspect about what your role will be. What exactly did they tell you they were looking for from you?
Nothing, specific or like, look, I'm not coming in here to, be some kind of dictator in the clubhouse who's gonna throw around a bunch of rules and ideas, opinions, whatever. It's more just coming in and being, bringing some experience. I would like to think some wisdom. I've been through a lot of adversity. I've been through some good, some bad, both in a Cardinal uniform and other uniforms. I've played for, different organizations, and I came up through this organization. So just and also have a ton of relationships with guys on this team already from being there, in 21. So, I'm really looking forward to just, reconnecting with these guys and being a guy that can help, bring the best out of everybody in that room. And looking, we've got such a great mix of younger players and older players, and trying to give those young guys a voice, trying to make them feel like they're a big part of what we're trying to do. And, that's what great teams do, is everyone gets involved, and there's not one guy in there that's, running the show or making everybody feel like he's the, voice that needs to be heard, having everybody's voice heard. And that's kind of my goal.
So help me understand this, because I think fans are confused. You got Goldie, Arenado, you got Contreras. I know the players love Ollie. So when we hear that they need another leader, and obviously you fill the bill, and you've been around, so you probably experienced this, then maybe we need another guy that maybe coming off the bench can be that. Help us understand where that leadership need comes from.
I think really what it boils down to is, and I totally can relate to this. It's sometimes hard, when I first, kind of the dynamic of how teams build rosters now has changed, in the last 10 years. And when I first got into the league, your bench guys were guys like me, guys towards the end of their career that, were everyday players and, early in their career, and now they're kind of adopting a new role. And as a young major leaguer, a guy like a Mason Wynn or Jordan Walker, it is a huge luxury to have a guy on the bench that doesn't necessarily have the responsibility or pressure or stresses of being in the lineup every day, that really can kind of be a see-all, be-all, all-encompassing, present-minded guy that's there to bounce ideas off of, talk to when things you're struggling, just be a voice and be someone that you can lean on, because this is a hard game, and sometimes you can feel like you're on an island by yourself as a young player. The other thing is, even for guys who've done it for a long time, a guy like Nolan or Paul or, Wilson. It's the same feeling. Having a guy that you can go over there and talk to that's, in the heat of the moment, that's not in the lineup, that you can, just be around. I think that's a huge deal. And I know I leaned on those guys when I was, playing. And I know that they will. So I just think it's an important dynamic to a clubhouse and to a roster. And, I think that it'll have a ton of benefit, for these guys this season.
Makes sense to me. August 28th, I think it was. You're with the Padres. Waino's pitching. If I'm not mistaken, that's the right date. Scoreless game. Waino's pitching well. You come up and you get a hit to break up the scoreless game. You end up with 2 hits, but that ball you sent over to the Cardinal clubhouse asking Waino to autograph it. He sent it back to you with congrats on the 2 luckiest hits of your career. And you told me, because you talked to me about it, you told me at the time that that's such a prized possession that ball would end up in your bedroom. So I need to know, is it really in your bedroom, that ball?
It made an appearance to start. My wife put a stop to it pretty quickly. I had a special place in mind, the mantle above our bed. That's where it was going to go. And I can confirm that it started there, but it is no longer there. Now it's it's my most prized possession in my office at our house. It's got a really nice spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the bedroom. It's a little weird, but I didn't want to pursue that. We'll just say it made an appearance, and now it's in the office. This is a family program. Have you thought about what it's going to be like opening day for you, back in St. Louis, back in a Cardinals uniform? Have you thought about what that moment's going to be like for you?
I have a little, but I know it's going to be special. I'm super excited and really looking forward to it. I can't, never would have thought that, that this would happen. And it's definitely surreal and going to mean a lot. But, Jim, I don't want to sound, cliche or like I'm, trying to, be some rah-rah team guy. I mean, but my reality is that's really not my focus. And it's not why I'm here this year. It's not really why I feel like I was brought back to, my focus is on this group and our team and these guys. And I am so motivated and really excited about the roster and the group of guys that we have. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that maybe take this group lightly, and we're going to come out, with the people I've reached out to, the conversations we've had, I've never been around a more motivated Cardinal team. And I just think it's going to be a fantastic year, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of it.
The way you answered that, though, that tells me you've been reading the stuff. Oh, the Cardinals love legacy stuff. And, that's what I didn't think that. But obviously you've read that the Cardinals like to bring guys back and have a big farewell. And I obviously know that that's not why you're here to do it. But you must have heard that because you jumped in on that pretty quick.
Well, I just would assume that, that's what people think. And like, for me, that's just not the case. Like, I don't, this, am I thrilled about this opportunity from that standpoint? Yes, but it's not even remotely like on my radar for why I wanted to be here. Part of, I don't want to say like, it feels like you owe it to the organization or it's a responsibility of mine, but I really bought into what this organization was all about in the Cardinal way, and like being a guy who puts on this uniform and really tries to model the guys that kind of showed me what it was like to be a pro, what it was like to wear this jersey, the privilege that it is to wear this jersey, the responsibility that it is to wear this jersey, the expectation that is brought on you to wear this jersey. And, I didn't take it lightly when I was in uniform, and now being able to come back, I'm not taking it lightly again. And I just want to make sure that everyone in that room feels the same way that I do about that privilege that it is to put on this uniform. And I know they do. I can feel it. And that's the most important thing to me, is to put that mindset in every single guy in that room, that every time you put that jersey on, you step on that field, we're coming at you 100 miles an hour and we're going to try to win at all costs. And that's how it was taught to me. And that's how I want to, adopt and put this mindset in our group this season.
So they added 3 new pitchers, including Gray, your old buddy Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson as well, a couple of really good young players. This team has something to offer as it tries to put an awful, awful year behind it. So you've been around baseball. Size up this edition of the Cardinals that you're now part of. What do you think you guys can be?
Man, I think the sky's the limit. I mean, truly, I think that when you go into spring training every single year, there are certainly teams that are walking into that room thinking, hey, look, we got a legitimate shot to win the World Series. And there are certainly teams that don't. I think we can honestly evaluate every roster in the Major League Baseball and look up and down and say, look, this team's trying to win this year and this team's not. We 100% are one of those groups that's trying to win. We are 100% one of those groups that has an opportunity to try to and a chance to win the World Series. And that's what you want. What's what you want when you go into spring training is an honest evaluation of the guys in your room. Like, look, do we have the talent in here to make this happen? 100%. What it's going to come down to, and what it always comes down to, is obviously health, but also, how close can we get as a group? How well can we play for one another, and how can we show up every day and put in the work and go out there and compete at the best level and just execute? I think that when you get wrapped up in the expectations, I think you got to really focus on the execution and just going out and executing your job, whatever it is, whether it's a guy like me that's going to come off the bench and have good at bats, or whether it's a starting pitcher like Lance who's going to come in and play a huge role as a veteran leader, or it's, the youngest guy on our roster. It's just everyone has a job to do, and can we execute it to the best of our ability while loving one another, enjoying one another, and having fun with one another. That's how you win, and I think we're going to do a great job of that.
I just got to ask you before I let you go, what did Holliday give you for breakfast? Because when I was asking him about kind of cheaping out and making you stay at the La Quinta, he said he would have a nice breakfast for you. Did he, or did he cheap out on that too?
I'm not going to – he doesn't eat a ton. Like, that's the thing I've noticed about him. It's like we come here, we hit all day. When we're not hitting, we're playing pickleball or we're messing around. Like, it's just nonstop physical activity. And then there's one giant meal at the end of the day. And I don't know how he keeps as big and strong as he does.
So he hasn't fed you like he said he would. He didn't give you anything to eat.
We ate dinner last night, but I have not eaten anything today. No.
Well, he said he would have breakfast, so he's not telling the truth. And also, can you beat him in pickleball? Please tell me you can.
So I brought a ringer, a buddy of mine, and we have beat him. But I'm not going to take credit for the wins. My partner's pretty good.
As long as it's a loss for Holliday, I'm in. Matt Carpenter, you sound to me like a guy who has a job to do, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Jim, thank you, man. Looking forward to seeing you.
Our guest is Matt Carpenter. Before we say goodbye, please reach down and hit that subscribe button. Thank you, Matt.